Welcome back, everyone. 2 weeks ago, Robert Wilson pled guilty to 4 counts of first-degree murder for the deaths of his parents, sister, and 5-year-old niece. That horrific crime happened back in September 2022 at a home in Pinal County. When deputies arrived, they found Wilson covered in blood, and the 4 victims were found beaten before they were killed with a knife. Here's what Chief Deputy Matthew Thomas from the Pinal County Sheriff's Office had to say.
It's tough for our deputies who had to walk into essentially what was a slaughter by a monster of his family members.
Wilson was given a natural life sentence without the possibility of parole, according to the terms of the plea agreement. So let's go inside the mind and the motive of this disturbing case. Psychologist Dr. Catherine Coleman is board certified in police and public safety psychology. Catherine, the day that this happened, you got a call to respond and help those who were involved in this, the first responders, the deputies, even the dispatchers. Is this rare when you get a call that immediate and that urgent?
So typically what'll happen after a traumatic event, or what we call a critical incident, is that within the coming days, they'll want some kind of psychological support. The times where I get that immediate call of, we need you within the next couple hours, the next 12 hours, it's either because an officer has been killed or it's something as just absolutely traumatic as this. So it's not super common.
Yeah. Okay, so let's talk about that psychological support. I mean, first responders, they see everything. They're the first ones to show up at the scene. How do you help them recover after what they have seen?
A lot of times it comes also from the deputies or the officers themselves, because it takes them to admit that they've been impacted.
Yeah.
This is a very strong and sometimes stubborn population
Right.
that likes to, you don't want to admit weakness. You
Yeah.
want to be
They're
strong.
tough. Yeah.
Very tough. And so, first of all, we have to accept that it's okay not to be okay. And the reality is that everybody has different levels of resiliency, and everybody is impacted by things in different ways. And so what may be very traumatizing to one responding deputy may not be to another. And so it can vary just depending on the person, but having that initial support, that what we call psychological first aid, just that education, here's what you need to do, make sure you get some sleep, exercise, don't drink too much, all of these basic things so that they can actually process what happened.
Right. It's almost like self-care, right?
Exactly.
Okay. Let's talk about the warning signs that Wilson had. He had significant mental health issues and aggressiveness. Tell me about that case.
So this is very interesting. Obviously what happened on that day was just out of this world, and very unexpected. And I don't even think that we still really understand the motive for it.
Right.
But what was interesting is that in the 3 years leading up to this incident, law enforcement had been called 10 times to his residence, sometimes for mental health, sometimes for a welfare check. There was once an assault. And so we have this history of kind of concerning behaviors. Obviously, his family was highly concerned for him, and they felt that they need that assistance. And so there were certainly some warning signs there.
And you mentioned when we were talking earlier, SMI. What is that?
So SMI stands for seriously mentally ill, and it's a designation that can be given to individuals through the state, specifically through Arizona Complete Care. And what that means is, say you have a loved one, typically an adult, who exhibits some symptoms, and you just feel like, I'm not able to take care of them. I've got to go to work. I've got to take care of my kids. I can't, be around to just monitor this person all the time. Maybe there's drug issues. Maybe they have a serious mental illness like a psychosis. And once an individual gets this designation, it sets them up for a lot of resources, case managers, housing, mental health treatment, psychiatry, and all of this stuff, so that the family doesn't have to bear that burden all the time, and this individual gets the assistance they need.
Okay, real quick, bottom line, if people need help for mental illness, what are some resources?
So Arizona Complete Care, great resource. They're basically our state Medicaid. Psychology Today, an amazing resource. You can filter through therapists that based on your insurance, location, what kind of treatment you're looking for. That's always my go-to when I don't know where to refer somebody.
Okay, all right, Dr. Catherine Coleman, thank you so very much.